This will be my last video message for a while. I'll explain why here in a little bit. Not my last message forever, just the last video message for now. Um, I switched to doing video messages, so this is my 10th video message. I switched to doing the video messages and putting them up on YouTube after a number of phone calls, texts, and emails I didn't get an answer to, and I couldn't tell if anybody was reading them or not. So two things. I figured, one, I'd be able to tell if anybody had actually watched the videos, which it appears that no one's been watching the last few that I posted. And also, if the day ever comes when somebody tries to track me down or wants to see what's going on, the messages will persist, unlike the text messages and email messages and voice messages can be deleted, and also they can be blocked, so I'm not even sure if the messages are getting through or not. So like I said, last message for now, because I would still very much like to try to do a Christmas call later this year, but I've realized that I'm going to need to take a break for a while, because, in order to be in a place that, I'm ready and sort of willing to do it. After the humiliation of last year of sitting on the phone for the full 15 minutes that I had scheduled, and the time ticking by and nobody calling in, and then the other messages not getting answered since then, it wears on me too much to try to keep doing this and to not get anything in response. So, like I said, I really want to try to do a Christmas message later this year. I had originally very much wanted to develop a family plan, which hopefully you all have heard something about, where I wanted to do, besides a Christmas call as a family, I wanted to be able to do Father's Day and Mother's Day as a family and make sure that everybody understood um, that certain key events were open to everybody in the family after my own experience with my parents, and not being able to invite my whole family to to key events. I really didn't want to see that same thing happen again, which is why I very much wanted to have a family plan. Unfortunately, legally, I had no recourse since both of you guys were over 18. If you had been under 18, I would have been able to have some type of legal remedy in order to implement some type of family plan. But since you guys were both over 18, it was just the only way it was going to come about would have been just a agreement and a willingness for somebody to do it. And since I didn't have any leverage, that didn't happen. So I tried to offer all I could in exchange for it, but I just couldn't come up with enough to do it. So the whole time you guys were growing up, didn't get a chance to talk and interact with you guys the way that I would have wanted to. I'm not going to go into the details about it for two reasons. One, I don't want it to seem in any way like I am blaming anyone or saying anything like that. That's not the case. I just wanted to explain, why I was the way that I was, and I did the things that I did or didn't do the things that I didn't do, or whatever. And I had always thought that we would get to a point in life that we would have been able to talk about things, and I had really thought and hoped that as you guys got older and I got older, that would have been the time to really connect, and I would have been able to make my most meaningful contributions. But well, that turned out to not be the case. So So that was one reason why I'm not going to go into it. The other reason is that um, I a big thing was that I was worried that um, if I shared too much or I involved you guys too much, that somehow it would be seen as encroaching on your own life and your own desire to do things that, interestingly enough, turned out to be the case. Because you know,
Excuse me, updates
I
available.
only got a chance to ever start saying something to Avery. I didn't get a chance to finish my sentence, and that was, you know, after finding out that you guys did indeed get my messages from me where I was asking for help, and I hadn't gotten any kind of response. That I was trying to say, yeah, and he pointed out that he seemed to be rather mad at me because, you know, my asking for help was impacting you know, your life, or seen as some type of distraction or something selfish I was doing, and that wasn't what I intended. So anyway, what I was hoping, and what I was trying to say to him was that, you know, I really hope you enjoy your life, and at which point he hung up. What I was trying to say is, and that is why I didn't realize that me asking for help would be a problem with you enjoying your life. Something to that effect. I can't remember exactly how I was going to say it, but that's what I was trying to get at. I tried really, 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 really hard for all of our time together, not to mention just these past few years, to really, 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 really try to do everything on my own. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to do everything on my own. So the last thing I ever wanted to do was ask for any help from anyone. And I always tried, you know, to make sure you didn't have to work, you didn't have to do stuff around the house. I tried really, really hard that you could just have the type of childhood that I frankly, I never had a chance to have myself. So when I finally did, and it was so hard. It was so unbearably hard for me to ask for help. But I had been asking for help from everybody else that I could think of, and nobody was not only were they not willing to help, but nobody was even responding to things. And I was trying so hard to do everything on my own, and I wasn't going to ask for help for myself. I was trying to ask for help for taking care of the family stuff that was in the house. And so when I did finally ask for help, yeah, there was a part, and I left a message one time before where I talked about how I was having this difficulty understanding what was real and what wasn't, and I was starting to almost even question, not almost, but I got to the point where I questioned if I knew anybody that I was talking to, or anybody that was on the other end of the phone. And so there was that part of it, but also, to be honest, there was part of me that was really, really, really actually kind of hoping that you all had other phones, and that when I asked for help, the reason I hadn't heard anything back was because you didn't get the messages. And I actually got to the point where I convinced myself not only was it possible, but it would actually even be better if when I was trying to send you messages, if the reason I wasn't hearing anything back was because you weren't getting them, because the you know, you did get new phones and I didn't have them, the numbers, and you thought that you thought that I just wasn't trying to communicate, or you thought that I wasn't sending the messages, instead of me actually sending the messages and you know, just not getting anything in response. So I just now I'm kind of losing my place. But, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to I'll set up again a phone call for us in Christmas. I promise, I will never ask for any help. I promise I will never ask for any help. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was going to be such a wrong thing to do. If somebody would be willing to tell me what's wrong and then give me a chance to not do it again, I would do it again. But it just, I don't understand the point in letting me know that I did something wrong if I'm never going to have a chance to try to make up for it or to do do the right thing. But so so I promise, not only will I never ask you for help, but I'm never going to ask anyone for help. I've given up ever asking for anyone for help. I'm not going to ask anyone. So I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise I will not ask anyone for help. You will never, ever, 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 ever hear anything from me at all that makes it sound like I want anything. So I promise that we can just talk about your life, and if you need things from me, you can ask me for anything, and I will always try. So there's no restriction to you asking me for anything. I will always try. I just promise I will never ask for anything. I won't go into any of the details about my own situation because I don't know what will come across as potentially something that makes it sound like somebody. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I've tried calling, I've tried emailing, I've tried texting, I'm posting these video messages. I can't send email. I don't even know your addresses. I don't even know which state Avery lives in. I think somebody told me you moved to New Hampshire or something. I know it was something with an N. And I know my mom asked for the address and she wasn't able to get the address. So I'm not sure. I even made sure that it was very clear that if my sister and my mom got the addresses, that they would not pass them on to me, in order to make sure there was not any concern that somehow I don't know what the concern is that I would do, but I don't know. I've heard a number of things. I don't know. All I can say is I'm trying. I'm trying the best I can. I not in any way making it seem like I'm asking for any help or I want help or I would accept help. But I mean, it's been a few challenging times. I've had a new diagnosis, which has helped me understand certain things about myself, but it's come too late. But it explains, because the particular diagnosis that I have, apparently it's common for people not to be understanding and not to be accepting, which happens to be the case. And I don't know what else to say. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to know what's going on. Like I said, I will not try to reach out in any way whatsoever until next Christmas. Now, that being said, if anyone wants to call me, anyone wants to send me a message, anyone wants to give me a time and a phone number to give you guys a call, I will do that. I will always will respond. I will never ignore anybody. I do not wish anybody to not exist in any way whatsoever. That I know how. Trust me, I know how crushing that is. To realize that just people just don't want me to exist. They and I'm sorry. I don't know I'm sorry for who I am. I'm sorry for the person I am. I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm sorry for what I haven't done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, and I'm trying. I am 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 trying. I'm willing to try more. I'm willing to try anything. Which is why this is going to be my last message for a while, because I want to try to have a connection come this Christmas, and to be able to try that, I need to take some time and not feel the rejection and another message after another message after another message, and there just being no response. And um, I don't know. I don't know if people think I'm not genuine, if they just don't think I deserve it, if they don't think I mean it. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I do not know. And I mean that with all sincerity. I do not know. I'm like I said, I'm sorry for who I am. I'm sorry that I'm the only excuse for a father that you have. I'm sorry for everything I've ever done as a father. I'm sorry in so many ways. I'm just sorry. I don't know how to keep. It can't be about apologies because I feel like I've apologized so much, and I don't know even what else to apologize about. So anyway, if someday you see this message and you wonder why from May 28th through until December 25th, you don't see anything, that's why I've been. So I will set up another call December 25th. I'll send you the link and the time and all that stuff, and I'll be sitting here at home, probably alone again. I'll get up out of bed long enough. I'll come down and I'll dial in like I did last year, and I'll wait for the full time. And if somebody is willing to join just to say Merry Christmas and hang up, that would be great. And as I say that, I just realize it makes it sound like I'm asking for something. So I've already messed up. So I don't know. Maybe I won't even do Christmas because that makes it sound like I'm asking for something. And I've learned that's the wrong thing to do. So I'll just stop. I'll just say I'm sorry. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful life, as I've always hoped that you would have a wonderful life. And I'm sorry for the things that I did and that I keep doing that are getting in the way of that. And if you ever want to get in touch, for as long as I can, I'll keep the same phone number. I'll keep the same email. You can always reach out. If it's during the day, I'm at work, obviously, I can't have my phone. I can't get email. I can't get in touch with people outside. It takes me about a week or so to make arrangements in order to get time off during the day for a phone call, which is why, some of the times recently when, last minute there's been a switch and, can't talk today, need to talk tomorrow, and I said I can't do that. Apparently that was not a good thing to do. So but I guess where I was headed is, if you're only able to talk during the day, let me know that in a message, and I will submit my request forms to the directorate as quickly as I can, and I'll try to get off. But if it comes to it, I'll quit my job in order to make sure that I'm there. If you're willing to get in touch with my mom, she really misses you guys. This has all been hitting her really hard too. She's been saying some things to me, and I realize they're my fault. I've been apologizing to her for what I've done, because apparently, she wanted grandchildren also, and it sucks that she can't have a relationship with your grandkids because of me. I understand I'm not going to have a relationship with grandkids, but that's my own fault. I don't know what else to say. If anybody wants to give me a call or reach out or text, I will always, I promise, I will always respond and acknowledge it, the quickest way I possibly can. And I will always, always, always do anything and everything I can for you. If you ask for something that's more than I can do, I will let you know what I can do. I will always try. I will always at least try. Um, I won't ask for another chance. Okay. I love you guys. I really miss you guys. I obviously I wish things hadn't gone this way. I don't know if the thought is that I wanted things to go this way, or I deserve for things to go this. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just exhausted. So anyway, I wish you all the very best. And of course, I've held on to every single thing of yours and the family's, and I'm still hoping that someday people are interested in wanting it. If I have to box it up and put it somewhere so that people can get to it without having to see me, then that's fine. I will try to make arrangements. So I will try to figure out something. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm really trying.